Oh, tomorrow. Well, you know one person like scatterplot is it up.
Welcome everybody. It's good to see you. I know it's been a long day. We purposely did this on Wednesday so that we could start early. Last year they went from like
4:30 to 6:30.
yeah, so thanks. I'm Patricia Blevins, if somebody might remember me from when we came back or when you guys started. I'm a teacher support mentor, and Steve Thornton, he's the boss.
I think I met all y'all.
In case you don't know.
There she is. Did everybody sign in?
Bathrooms are out the door to the right, all the way down the hall. Whenever you need to go, that's fine. Grab some snacks. Anything else before we start, Steve? Don't we always we had screens like this?
Yeah.
Everybody could see it. All right. So there are two groups of teachers here. So you might notice it different from week to week. The first group is you're taking this as a course to learn 4 units. And the second group is you're attending individual sections. This year we've opened this up to some veteran teachers that might not need the units, but they can pop into any session that they want to pop into. So if you're here for the course, here is some general information. There are 10 sessions. Some of the feedback that we got from last year's was that teachers really wanted to be able to have the option. You have to attend all 10 to get the credits, but they wanted to be able to do some asynchronous and synchronous. So we listened. So you get to choose the 5 you want to attend. You could come to all of them. You can come here to all of them if you want. But you can choose 5 to attend live, and then you can do 5 asynchronous, meaning watch it on your own time and do the homework. Okay? All sessions are Wednesdays from 4 to 5:30. Coursework will be in the Google Classroom. In the class tonight, you'll go ahead and do that in the Google Classroom. Each class will have an hour strategy workshop and a half-hour of class information, except tonight. It's going to take us a little longer to get through the class information part. But usually what will happen is we'll immediately start with the workshop, where you're learning a strategy that's actionable, that you can take back to your class. And then the last 15, 20 minutes will be like classwork stuff. And that way the people who are just attending the workshops can go and leave. There will be a discussion board following each class. So those of you who have taken classes online, you know all about discussion boards. They'll be in there tomorrow morning. We'll go over that in a second. In order to earn your units for your asynchronous weeks, you will need to watch the class and will still complete the coursework for that week. It's broke, we have to have 60 hours, correct, Steve?
Yes.
20 hours of class time, and we're doing an hour and a half sessions, and then you'll have the half hour, which is the discussion boards. So that makes up our 2 hours of class session. Any questions so far?
So 60 hours, 20 of it is the seat time, including the discussion. 20 of it is homework. So we're going to give you homework because this is a college class. And 20 hours of actually implementation and data collection in your classroom, which we're calling lab work. Those are the 60 hours that will get you the 4 units, which will cost about $316. We will not open the enrollment until the end, our 10th session, because then I want you to pay, and then you drop, and then I don't know how to get your money back because it actually goes to University of San Diego, a private university in San Diego.
So we're paying for the class. You are the $300 whatever for the cost of the units. The districts cannot pay for units. So that's what the money is for, is strictly units.
But you're welcome to attend and not get the units, and you're welcome to attend and get the units. It's your choice.
So these are all the different dates and topics so that you can kind of plan your schedule. If you know you're going to be gone certain times, certain Wednesdays are out, which 5 you want to attend and which 5 you want to do from home. This will be posted in your Google Classroom, so you'll have access to this as well. So discussion board. So the day after each class, a question will be posted on the discussion board. So tomorrow in class or in the morning, you'll have a discussion post in the Google Classroom, and you will have 1 week to post and respond. So you will answer in a minimum of 250 words. All the questions are based on the workshop work that you're doing. Okay? And then you're going to respond to at least 2 other peers with a well thought out and helpful comment. So your comment thread, which are discussion boards, should be focused on helping move your peers' teaching practice forward. How many of you guys have actually done discussion boards? Right? And sometimes they're really helpful, and sometimes it's like, oh, I like that. And it's like, oh, cool, thanks for the help. So we want to make sure that we're really helping each other. Again, we want to our goal is every time you come, you leave tomorrow ready to try something else. Lab work. So that's what we're calling your in-class work. So in the time between classes, you will run labs. So lab work is the process of analyzing student growth using the strategies you are implementing. The lab portion will be in your classroom, and then there will be planning or reflection time of about 2 hours. That's from one class to the next. The lab work will be posted 1 week after your class, and the due date will be posted. So you'll have a week for your discussion board, and then you'll have the 3 weeks or whatever after that to do your lab work. Okay. Again, it's all focused on you guys doing the strategy. So tonight we're going to come up with a strategy that you want to try in the classroom. Your lab work is trying out the strategy. If it doesn't work, I'm tweaking it. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try something else. Your homework for the lab work is discussing that. How did that work out? Did I have to try something? You will be analyzing data. So say I want a strategy, I don't know, one strategy I want to fix is student engagement. My students just aren't that engaged. So before you start your lab work, you'll watch how many students are engaged, or have your TSM come in and say, this is part of my lab work. Can you check how many students are actually doing X, Y, Z? Because sometimes we don't see as teachers, right? And they'll come back and they'll say, okay, 16 out of 38 students were working. So now we have numbers, right? And then we're going to implement this strategy, and we're going to try it again, and then we're going to see, did it move forward? Are more kids engaged? And then do we need to tweak it some more? We try it again. And our goal is to get almost all of our students engaged. And then that's kind of what you'll be discussing in your homework. Questions? So grading. So this is just a pass-fail class. So pass-fail, so meaning A/B work. You'll receive feedback on all of your assignments as quickly as I can get to it, but usually, within the week, but pretty quickly. If you need to rework anything, I'll reach out to you right away and say, hey, can you answer this question? And we'll let you know if it's good to go. So we'll be contacting you through Google Classroom, so make sure you're checking it periodically, or setting your Google Classroom up for notifications for this one class at least. I know you might, if you use Google Classroom a lot, like I turned it off because I couldn't have 185 notifications when students are asking questions, so you might want to turn it on for this class. All right, questions about the class itself?
So when we do an asynchronous class, are we still like logging in from 4 to 5:30, or we just do it on our own time?
You don't have to. We'll record it and we'll upload it the next day, so you can do that on your own time, and watch it on your own time. So we're recording this session, but you all have to be here in the first session. So, but we'll upload it so you can kind of see it, and then if you wanted to refer to it back, you could. But yeah, you just do it on your own time. You just need to be aware that you still need to do it within the first couple of days, though, because you still have to post to the discussion board and those kinds of things. So the discussion board is about a week. It's from Wednesday to Wednesday, and then it closes. I don't know if you know Google Classroom has this beautiful new feature, but it doesn't accept submissions after you hit no, so you can't have a student turn in something 142 days late. So this will close, because the whole purpose of the discussion is to help your teachers get ready to implement this, or for you to have a plan. So by the next Wednesday, it closes and you can no longer submit. So if you are doing this, just make sure that you watch it in the first few days. I'm here if you have questions. You can email me or contact me through the classroom. Steve as well. Your TSMs just today we debriefed the whole thing, so they all know. We good? That's good. All right. So today's 911, what's your emergency? Strategies to implement today for a smooth class tomorrow. So we have some questions. I think I'm going to have you guys pictures reading them. There are several. On is your classroom management working? And I want you to read the questions and just think. You don't have to talk about it, just in my mind, yes, no. Does this happen in my class? Yes or no, yes or no. Okay, so Jessica, can we start with you?
Yeah, that's the first one.
Just the first one.
Okay, when you're talking to your class, are students listening?
So what else?
Do students respect their space, their peers, and themselves?
Are students turning in quality work on time?
Our cell phones and earbuds put away.
Is your restroom policy disruptive?
Are students staying in their seats?
Do your students know when it's appropriate time to ask appropriate questions?
Do students only have out materials they need?
They're moving between tasks because it's new.
Are you exhausted at the end of the day?
Are you having to repeat yourself over and over or talk over students?
Do students know what to do when they walk in your room and where to get materials and put them away?
Are students on time to class and busy in their seats until the bell rings?
Has the admin given feedback on your classroom management?
So just think about those, yes, no. I'm not gonna ask you to talk about them out loud or anything like that, but those are some signs that your classroom management is or isn't working. If you've answered no to any of these, it's usually because your expectations aren't clear or you waver on your follow through. So think about those that I answered no to. Am I not clear with my expectations, or do I not follow through on maybe what I said the first week or the first day? What's happening here? No worries though, there's still time to get it all in place. We've got you, so let's talk about it. I love this quote: "A rule that isn't enforced is just a suggestion." And our teenagers don't give suggestions, or they ignore them. It's like when mom says, "Hey, your room's a mess." And they're like, "You are right, Mom." All right. So we're going to talk about your delivery. Steve's going to take over for a few minutes.
All right. First question I have is, there's a list here. How many of you go home and 30 minutes after the last bell, you feel like you're just drained? Like you just drank a 12-pack of beer and you're not tired. You gotta drive home and you barely make it, you're not right. Why? Why? Okay, so here's what we know. Every time there's a disruption in your class, it could be the fire alarm, it could be them calling you saying, can you sub during your prep? It could be a student giving you a disruption. Simple as I need to go to the bathroom, to all the way up to, using those expletives, blank you, Mr. T, I am not going to do this, right? And so what happens is that there's an automated system that goes off. Back in the day, way back in the day, human beings had to be attuned to dangerous situations, right? Had to be, I don't know how y'all feel about snakes, but I am deathly afraid of snakes. Now, I'm an outdoors person, and I love to go fishing. I'm a fly fisherman. I go to Eureka for steelhead. I'm going to Alaska in April. In October, I'm going to South Lake Tahoe for cutthroat trout. Love being outdoors. But if I see a snake, I sound like a little girl and scream and run. And as a result, I'm highly attuned to those situations. What kicks in is a fight or flight reflex. Now, I've already determined I'm not fighting a snake. I'm running. Your body, though, doesn't know how to turn that off. So the same disruption in your classroom, your brain thinks is just as dangerous as the snake or the tiger. So a fight-flight reflex kicks off, and several biological things happen to you. Your brain downshifts from the neocortex into the brainstem. I'm going to give you some evidence of that in a moment. Your arteries actually contract. Your blood pressure goes up. Your digestive system turns off, because if you're in a life or death situation, who cares if you're digesting food? What you need is energy to run. Heart rate goes up. Eyes get narrowed. And your brain becomes reactionary. How do I know this? Have you ever been in an argument with your significant other, and about an hour later, you go, and another thing? You just thought of it. Because you couldn't think of it in the moment, but an hour later you could think of it. Or you've been in a job interview and you're driving home. Oh man, I should have said. What happened is your brain downshifted into the neocortex. Now what happens if that's in a classroom and you've got 38 students and you just downshifted? What happens? They control you. If you think about it, that's now 38 students that are controlling the teacher because we just downshifted. So how do we combat that? The first is we need to remain calm at all costs. So I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. And I'm going to make you pair up and do something really goofy, but it works. So you can put that on the feedback. Man, this was the silliest thing, but I want to try. So we learn how to remain calm. The second thing is you notice I've already paced the room. It's kind of my style. But in your classroom, there are 3 zones. A green zone where kids are goofing off. A yellow zone where the kids are like, I don't know if I'm going to get caught. And a red zone where there's no go. Kids are doing their thing. How do we know this? Within about the first 8 feet is the red zone. So even as I'm walking here, can you feel your attention changing? And as I walk the other side of the room, now they're red, now we get 16 feet away, or yellow, now all of a sudden they're green zone. Somebody can have their laptop or cell phone out and I wouldn't know it. They're goofing off because they don't think I'm paying attention. Okay. So 2 things we're going to work on today is remaining calm and thinking about a classroom setup. Can you walk the room in such a way that in just a few steps you can change the zone? Now this one's a little hard. I can't walk through the aisle, right? What does your classroom setup look like? Can you walk the room quickly? Because if we walk the room, and let's say that she's goofing off, and I just stand here, and I keep teaching, but I don't say anything, she's getting uncomfortable. Why is he standing there? What am I doing? Why is he here? She's track, okay, she's still there. And I'm standing there, and I'm in her space, and she's getting uncomfortable. She's going to stop pushing me, and she's going to start getting, she knows she was talking. She knows while I'm standing here. She's busted. She gets back to work. Did I say anything? What happens if I say something? A battle erupts. So the first time I say something, the student in all cultures around the world, including kindergarten, I know we're talking 7 to 12 today, even kindergarten, they don't want to be signaled out. Your kids, especially 7th and 8th, how many 7th and 8th grade teachers in the house today? They don't want to be spaced, do they? If you call out, Johnny, what's Johnny going to say? What? Johnny, you just stopped talking. I wasn't talking. He's loud, right? He's not normal voice. I wasn't talking. I wasn't talking. Johnny, I don't want to ask you again. What am I doing, by the way, with Johnny? What do we call this strategy? You're escalating. We are escalating. Your mom and dad might call it nagging. Does nagging work? We're trying to be the nice teacher. We're trying to not bust a kid and put him into time to teach free focus or send him to the office. So I call him out. He responds. I respond back. And say that again. What are we doing? Escalating. Listen carefully. It's not the student's back talk that will get him sent to the office. It's the teacher's back talk that gets him sent to the office. Because what's going to happen if I keep going back and forth? All right, I've had it. Get your stuff and go. I'm calling security. What happened to my brain? Am I agitated? Have I shifted? Whole class now is getting control. What does he get out of it? Does he want to be in your class? You just gave him what he wanted. First he got the attention, and now he's out of class. Okay, so we send a kid to the office. What happens? What's the procedure like? Where do they go? Where do they go sit?
They go sit and wait for
Who are they sitting with? An assistant. Is that a class? Is that a certificated teacher? They cracking a book? They doing any work? All right. So that didn't work. Now we're 30 minutes sitting there because admin's worried about the pot smoking in the bathroom. Finally, admin comes in. They're agitated. They're already downshifted because a parent was just yelling at them. Now they've got this kid in front of them that was talking in class and wouldn't be quiet. What do you think admin's reaction is going to be to that? Poor mijo, don't do that again. Go back to class. They come back to class 40 minutes, 50 minutes after you sent them out. How does that make you feel? Admin doesn't back me up. That's how you feel. It is very expensive, not monetarily, to send a kid out of class. Because we've also just made a reinforcement error and we said, I'm not really in charge of my class. Admin is. It's the same concept that you said when you were a kid. Did you ever do this? Wait till your dad gets home. Mom's got her hands on her hips. Got a little attitude going on. Wait till your dad gets home. Well, I heard that meant I get to goof off till dad gets home. Oh, heck no. What about a mama that takes the belt off? Bend over. We instantly take care of things for mama, right? And so we, hello? If we delegate that, we're losing the authority in our classroom. So we are trying as much as we can to handle it. But I just said if you opened your mouth, you're going to invite an escalation, you're going to get backed up. So how do we handle it? First rule is you've got to remain calm. Later in another class, I'm going to teach you how to walk the room and how to really use Nakia, right?
Yeah, Marissa.
Marissa, oh God. So Marissa already showed you proximity with Marissa, and she's like already mad at me because I stood real close to her and got into her personal space. She's like, what? I wasn't doing anything. Right? So I can get your name wrong. We want to keep the kids in our classroom as much as possible, but if we engage, we're going to get escalation, and then you're going to have enough, and you're going to send enough. So first step is we need to remain calm. Second, we need to think about using proximity. So what I want you to do is stand up and find a pair, find a partner. Stand up and find a partner. This is where it gets goofy. You're going to be goofy. You got to find a partner. And I want you to face them so that your toes are pointed towards each other. With even number or odd number.
We're about to find out.
She does not. All right, so here's what I need you to do. First, I want you to feel stress. So, with your toes pointing, and listen, with your toes pointing towards each other, I want you to flex your thighs, do a stomach crunch, and raise your shoulders, and grab your fists and make them into a ball, and grip your teeth. Does that feel like stress? Now we're going to learn how to be calm. Here's what I want you to do. The object here is to not allow the kids to know what you're thinking. Surprise or fear of not knowing what you're going to do is a great tool. We want you to have the Queen Victoria, I am not amused look, or poker face. You are not going to laugh, and you are not going to get mad. You're going to remain calm. Here's how we're going to do it. In a moment, I'm going to have you look at each other, and I'm going to prompt you to breathe in and breathe out. We're going to unclench our jaw. Do you ever grind your teeth when you're angry? That's what I do. And I smirk this, and I put my hand in the pocket, and I put my key in I even have it. I'm wearing teeth. We want you to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. It will unclench your jaw. So I'm going to prompt you by saying, check your jaw. And then you're going to find a focal point on your partner and not their eyes. Don't look in their eyes, they'll make you laugh. I want you to find a focal point. Maybe you're thinking of them as being a cyclops. You're going to look right up here or something like that. All right? So, facing each other, toes pointed to each other. I want you to take a relaxing breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Check your jaw. Find your focal point. You can't smile, and you can't get angry. Told you it was goofy, but this will work. All right, relax. I heard a few giggles going on. I see a couple of smiles. Let's try that again. We want this face to say, I'm not happy and I'm not mad. Right? So a kid says something really funny, we're not going to laugh because we lose control. A kid says something that ticks you off, we're not going to get mad because you're in control. And we've got to stay calm so that we don't shift down into our neocortex. Got it? This is the purpose of remaining calm so we don't downshift. All right, looking at each other again. Take a relaxing breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Check your jaw. Find your focal point. Very good. All right, now, take a look at me for a moment. One of the things we learned last year in cognitive coaching is this thing called beamers, which means your body language is giving away what you're thinking. Let me give you some examples. So I'm standing in the room, and I just want to look at a disruptive student. And I go like this. My face is neutral, but what is the rest of my body saying? What if I added a little tube to it? My dad, bless his heart, he always had coins in his pocket. He'd be doing this. We had a principal called Mr. Piss keep walking his room. What does this say? I'm here to intimidate. Okay, so where should we want to control our beamers? Believe it or not, first grade and second grade can read body language. You want to know who the best on the planet is at reading people and playing them? 7th and 8th graders. 9th graders are a close second. They can read you like a book. So where should our hands go? So what is this? This? Or this? Which is the most neutral? All right, so here or here. I would encourage not in the pocket, because ladies, maybe you wear a dress and there's no pockets and you're like, right? But there's something, and you start playing with the things in your pocket and making noise, right? So here or here, because we're trying to control our beamers so that students can't read us. We're remaining calm, no reaction. Kid says, "Up you." And then in a minute, that doesn't mean I don't deal with it. We'll teach you this later. I'm going to ask that student to stay behind. I'm going to have a little chat with that student. Because if I call him out right in front of class, what's going to happen? We already got ooh, all the kids, right? I'm not amused. Kid farts in class. You want to laugh. I'm not amused. All right, so face each other again. Think about your beamers. Think about your body language. What are you communicating? I want you to take a relaxing breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Check your jaw. Find your focal point. Very good. All right, if your birthday is closest to today, you're going to be A. So figure that out real quick. Who's the A? Okay, A's. A's. You don't get to say anything. But with your facial or body language, I want you to try to make your partner laugh. B's. You're practicing remaining calm. And I promise you, as goofy as it feels right now, if you can do this in class tomorrow, it will work. It will be easier tomorrow than it is right now. Okay, so we're practicing. This is our lab. Tomorrow you can actually play it out. All right, so facing each other, toes pointed.
Do I get my focal point? I don't have to look at him in the eyes, right?
So,
I get my focal point?
A's are gonna make you laugh. B's, you do need to find a focal point.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Ready? Again, no talking. Ready? Begin. Take a relaxing breath. Breathe in. Let's try that again. Same rolls. Here we go. We're going to try that again. You can't laugh. You laugh in a freshman class, you've lost it for 45 minutes, right? There we go. Ready? Begin. Take a relaxing breath. Check your jaw. Find your focal point.
Swap or?
We haven't swapped yet. We haven't mastered it yet. All right, let's try that one more time, but this time we're going to switch. I know know you haven't mastered it yet, but Trisha's already telling me I'm on the clock, so we're gonna go. Alright, so we're gonna switch roles. Now B's, you're gonna make them laugh. A's, no laughing. You're remaining calm. You don't want them to know what you're thinking. And you're thinking calm thoughts so you don't downshift into your brainstem. Alright. Ready? Begin. Take go talking. That was no talking. We will get to, when we practice this again in another session, where you actually get to try to agitate the person and talk. But not tonight. We're just barely getting this down and trying to master it. So, here we go. Toes pointed towards your partner. Begin. Take a relaxing breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Check your jaw. Find your focal point. Much better. All right, have a seat. Okay, you get to do one more thing tonight. One more goofy thing. I'm going to have you stand up in just a moment. But I want you to see something as I demonstrate for you. All right, so I'm over here helping Larry. Is any Larrys in the house tonight? All right, we're going to pick on Larry. Larry's over here. So I'm helping the student, and Larry over there is making a ruckus. You ever help a student and the outside of the classroom things are going bad? All right, so I'm helping a student. And Larry makes a move. Watch what I do, and you tell me if you can read my body language. What am I saying to Larry and the rest of the class? I am ticked. What's happening to my calmness? Gone. Gone. Adrenaline just went up. It's going to take me literally, biologically, 20 to 30 minutes for me to calm back down. All right? Now think about this, by the way, just in the thought. If this is occurring all day, every day, what happens to you physiologically? You're going to, hey, honestly, this is the weirdest thing. You should know, I was 275 pounds last year. Today, I was 190. Right? Good. I had surgery. Didn't do it. Stress is a great way to add weight. Why? Your digestive slows down, so it's absorbing more calories. And you're reaching for comfort food to make yourself feel better. Okay? Ask me, right? I was big. Now I'm not. I had to do it the hard way. Go get surgery. But okay. Stress leads to higher blood pressure. What does that lead to over long term? Any scientists in the house? Heart attack, stroke, and then what about when I'm 70 and I've had high blood pressure my whole life? Diabetes is a part of it if I'm overweight, but high blood pressure leads to, I just had the word in my head, it's gone. Where your heart is leaking. No, fluids build up. Congestive heart failure. High blood pressure leads to congestive heart failure. Okay? Then your fluids build up. And if you happen to have diabetes and congestive heart failure, the medicine they give you for your kidneys to get rid of the water hurts your heart. And the medicine you eat for your heart prevents the kidneys from doing their job. Now we have two problems. Okay? All because we've had stress all of our life and we got high blood pressure. And you guys are going home tired. Right? Muscles hurt up here? Wishing your wife or husband were there to give you a massage you got home, or whomever is that special person in your life? Feel it? No, you don't want no one to touch you? These don't hurt. All that stress, it's happening all the time. So we're going to try to remain calm. We're going to try to address the class without even saying a word. Larry's making a problem over here. Here's the routine. You're actually, I told you it's going to get goofy. All right? You're going to actually stand up and do this in a moment. So we're helping over here, and let's say we're helping Allison. we're going to take a relaxing breath. Because do you ever put your hand on the table while you're helping somebody? We're not going to lift our hand even though we hear Larry over here. We're going to take a relaxing breath. Breathe in, breathe out. We're going to say, excuse me, Allison. And then we're going to stand. And it's going to take about 6 seconds to turn. Why am I turning slowly? If I turn fast, it says, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Turn slowly, you're like, what am I doing? Now, let me give you a caveat real quick. What we're talking about is dealing with the kids that are normally good, they're just off task. Okay? 60% of your class we can control with the look and the turn. And maybe we can even have to do a move in. Now we're up to 70%. Is that everybody? No, we still have some heavy hitters, as Tricia likes to say, in your classroom that are causing problems. We have other strategies for that. Okay? But just think about if your class was 60 or 70% better by the end of class tomorrow. Would that be a significant improvement? All right. So here's it is again. Here's the turn. You're helping Allison. So I'm going to have you guys all do this in a minute. It's going to get goofy. Here's Allison. Take a relaxing breath. Excuse me, Allison. Slowly turning. Look at that. All right, stand up. I actually want you to turn around and give me your backside. Put your hand on the desk like you're helping somebody. You're helping Allison. And I'm Larry.
Oh no.
You hear a disturbance. You take a relaxing breath. You breathe in. You breathe out. You say, excuse me, Allison. And you slowly turn towards me and check your jaw. You can't smile. You can't smile. All right, turn around again. Let's try that again. That was pretty good for the first time. All right, you hear Larry goofing off. You take a relaxing breath. You breathe in. You breathe out. You say, excuse me, Allison.
Excuse me, Allison.
Slowly turn to me and check your jaw. Very good. Get nice and slow. Do you feel calm? This is the feeling that we want you to have when you're in the midst of a disturbance. Even though I told you, life, you all want to laugh because it feels so goofy. But it works when you can look at a student without saying their name. You're giving non-verbal cues all day long. You're off task. I need you to get back on task. And if you have to, we can slowly move in. And when we stand next to a student, they know why you're there. Okay? Again, this isn't for the heavy hitters. These are for 60 to 70% of your class where a kid like me just got off task. All right, have a seat.
All right, we're going to talk about your physical space, so all of us face around and your seating arrangement. So let's start with our seating arrangement. Can you walk around all of your students? I know sometimes our classrooms, Torres, you guys have some really nice big classrooms. Zara High, we're like, those girls that are smashed in the room. So, but it's important to be able to walk around like Steve was talking about, right? Because for one, we need proximity. And if we're lecturing like this, you guys want one of these? Maybe we can hook you up with something. But when you're lecturing and some of the students are going to turn when you're talking from the back. Some of them are like staying real still because it's awkward because they've not experienced it. But it gets their attention. So make sure that when however you set them up, groups, rows, or whatever, that you can walk around them at all times. That way too, if someone has their computer out and it's not time for that, you can just walk by and shut it. And keep walking. So again, it's just we don't have to be in a discussion about it, it's just not time for that. They usually know, right? At this point, you guys should not be in alphabetical order anymore. If you are, That really works to get to know your kids, but it doesn't generally really work. Why doesn't that work? Ideas.
You want us to just call out tonight?
Sure.
Oh.
I think beneficial is not set up for group share or any kind of partner work, and they're gonna be more willing to open up with somebody they know or somebody at their level.
Okay. So why else would alphabetical order not work?
You might have a lot of guys in one little spot that possibly do know each other, and it might create conversation. And so, because I tried doing that once for one of my tests, and then I was like, oh, that's not gonna work. Because I thought them coming in, I was like, okay, they were like having them like numbered for the test, and then after they got in there, I was like, that's not gonna work.
Because darn if you do it, and those two best friends are sitting right next to each other. They're both A's or G's. One of the things one of my teachers did, and I thought it was brilliant, is she was a nice big classroom, but she had the kids come in and let them sit where they wanted. And she knew right away, they're never sitting together again. Right? And she has in groups of 4, and so then 20 minutes later, she had them stand up, and she did every other group is where she placed them. So that one group before, not only were they not in the same group, they were a group in between them. So they couldn't sit back to back in their groups like they always do, right? And so immediately that helped the situation from day one. So that's something we can do with our groups, or rows if you want. How many of you are in groups, sit in groups versus rows? Okay, how many of you have rows? How many of you switch? Yeah, I have a lot of teachers who switch. Another way you can do it, especially if you're in groups or even rows of 2 or 3, is get out their test scores. Even if you don't have English or math, get out their test scores and you put high-low kids together. If you have a group that's not functioning and you have, man, this group is really good and this group is really not functioning, if you look at their scores, chances are one of 2 things. They're all high kids and they're bored because they got done and now they're going to be punking each other, right? Or they're really low kids and they don't really understand the tasks. So in a few weeks, when we meet together again, we're going to talk about groups and how to put them together based on scores. The other thing we might want to do is make sure we have our EL kids and our non-EL kids mixed together. What are some other ideas? How do you guys do groups? Those of you who have groups, how do you figure out how to do groups?
Mine has started out with behaviors initially, and then also I sit guys and girls, so it's not all just a table of 4 girls, it's guys and girls mixed in, and sometimes I hate it, but I kind of encourage the reason why we do it is so that we can create conversation with other than, your close friend or someone that you're super comfortable with, just to create and get new ideas from different people.
I do something similar to that. I tell the students the reason is because it's my class, a career-oriented class. So I tell them, I go, any job that you're going to go to, you're going to end up having to work with somebody that you may not like, and you can't just keep quitting your job every time you don't like somebody. So you got to figure out how to work with that person, teamwork, partner work, whatever it is. It always works out usually.
Yeah, these kids don't get to know each other. And when I was with a group of students, and they all are wearing their Be Kind shirts, and they've been sitting next to these fellow students for like 3 weeks. I'm like, you don't even know their name. That is not kind. So having them in their groups, even the first couple minutes, asking questions so they can start talking to each other, getting to know each other. And so they might not like them, like hang out with them, but they will like them enough to know them and talk, right? Another one of my teachers did rows, and she was afraid to do groups. She has heavy hitters. Oh my gosh, freshman guys, just heavy hitters all over the place. And so she was afraid to do rows. So we literally, every week, we get together. It's like Jumanji. She has the board up, and she has highlighted what kids, and we've been doing this now 6 weeks. Just 3 of her classes are good. We've had it figured out. 2 of her classes, we are still constantly, this kid can't sit to this kid, and this kid can't sit to the next kid, and it just goes on, but we keep doing it. And her groups are functioning pretty well, but have you really looked at it? Have you just, now that you're getting to know your kids, put them on the board and sat and looked, who's sitting next to who? And can you move them? They should not be choosing where to sit at this point at all, because they'll choose their friend. Now, next semester, sometimes we know, like some friends, they actually work really well together. And you'll see that after a while, and they can be together. But for the most part, not right now. So if you're having some issues, that's something to,
Well,
those
I
are
have
something to track.
2 different types. I have rows too, but then once they're in my shop, they're in groups. So once I'm in the rows, I have them all separated because I do the same thing. Come and sit wherever you guys want in the beginning, and after that, once I see who we're sitting at, I start moving around. So that actually helped me out where they're just quiet and I can do my work quiet. But once my first lab, I actually let them choose the group. Let's see how well they work as friends, and then after that, I'm just pushing them around after my second lab. And just to do, like you said, so they can be more each other and talking with everybody. Because like I said, it's construction, so even though you don't like that person, sometimes you have to work with that person that you don't even like.
Right, and rely on their safety.
Yeah.
Yeah. So seating arrangements. Now we want to talk about defined areas. So do you have defined areas? Are your areas clear? Do students know where to turn in work? Does it stay the same? Do you have someplace where your expectations are hung up? This is what really helps when we have, like Steve was talking about, when we have those kids that just like to bend, our heavy hitters, right? They just go on and on and on and on. And if you have the expectations written on the board with consequences, and some kids go on and on because they like to banter with you. It's communication. Even if it's negative, they're getting something from it. So how do we not do that? Jessica's going on and on. I just point to the expectation on the board. I've already met with Jessica, or I met with Jessica's mom, dad. We know that we have certain things set up, whether, I know at Torres, can you guys give us RC this year still? Madera High people are like, what? So at Torres, they can assign us RC. But Madera High, we can actually send them then, right then, if we need to, this year. So we've already had that set up, and usually the heavy hitters we've met with and say, I'm pointing to that once, right? The second time, I'm pointing to the door. We're in call security. We're not talking about it, we're not discussing it, and what do you know, after a while, they quit doing it because they're not getting any feedback from you. They're not getting your anger back, they're not getting you, because I said so. Why do I have to do that? Because I said so. Because you need to do that. Just pointing to the rule, and then they have their, whatever your consequences are. So, are your areas defined, your expectations up? Do they have like their own little work area where they have their own stapler? Maybe if you provide paper for them and it all stays there, do they have that? When they sign in and out to go to the bathroom or to leave, is it all in the same place? Do you have a sign-in sheet? So Madera High, you guys, coolest thing, they have actually an app now. They have to get out their phones, and they have to like ask their phone for permission to go to the bathroom. And once they do it X amount of times, it declines their thing. And one of the teachers, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but some of the teachers goes, you know what, some of the kids are just too lazy. They don't want to get their phone out and fill out that whole thing, or get up, log on their computer if it's not a computer day. If they're not allowed phones in the rooms, they have to get out their laptop, log in, ask it for permission, and so their bathroom use has gone way down because they don't want to take the time to do all of that to go to the bathroom. So is that clear as well? All right, and let's talk about clutter.
Woohoo!
Why do you think clutter, your clutter matters to students.
Go ahead.
Oh, it can give them like anxiety. Like not
Yes.
everybody is okay with clutter.
Yeah, when you walk into a cluttered environment and you're not okay with it, your cortisol levels rise, and that's stress and anxiety. For a person who has ADHD, ADD, depression, clutter is hard. Now, sometimes they live in it because that's a sign of it as well. And we're really busy, right? It could be a sign of it if our rooms are really cluttered too, if we have depression or something, but it could just be we're so dang busy we just don't have time. But when a kid walks in your room and it's cluttered, cortisol levels go up, stress and anxiety levels go up. So it's super important that they know what to expect in your room when they come in, that it's neat, that it's tidy, doesn't have to be beautiful yet, you're new teachers, right? But that it's orderly and there's no clutter. Any questions about that? All right.
Let me say one thing before you turn to the next slide.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Oh,
so,
no, he's gonna have to stand.
yeah, I know, this is an ad lib, it's not planned. I want to give you one more charge. The standards in your classroom are whatever you allow the students to get away with.
100%.
The standards in your classroom are whatever you allow the students to get away with. So, throughout this next 10 sessions, one thing I want you to keep in mind is that you're going to have high expectations for behavior and high expectations for academics. The second thing I want you to message is this. Students need to respect you first before they like you. Students need to respect you first before they like you. They can like you and not respect you, and you have chaos. And nobody can teach you chaos. In fact, we're not going to keep you. Let me just be blunt. If there's chaos in your classroom, we're going to get to February, they're going to say we are not re-electing you. I'm just being real with you. If the kids respect you, even if they don't like you, they'll at least cooperate with you and do what you need them to do. But our research has found that students respect you first and then they like you. And it might be January before they go, you know what, I really like this teacher. Why? Because they don't let me get away with being lazy. They don't let me get away with turning in crap. They don't allow Johnny to pick on me in my classroom. And I feel safe in here. I respect that teacher. I like that teacher. I will tell you, I have 5 kids. 2 of my own 3 stepchildren. 5 kids. You know what I hear from my kids? Oh, don't mess around in Miss Hill's class. You don't mess around in Miss Blevins' class. I heard that when I had 2 students go through her classroom. You don't mess around in Miss Blevins' class. That was the expectation. This is what we need you to start buying into. You're going to have high expectations for behavior. We're giving you some strategies to put those in place. But here's the boundary. I'm not your friend. I'm your teacher. And you're going to respect me and I'll respect you. We'll figure out the likeness, whether you like me or I think I'm a popular or cool teacher, that's irrelevant. You're going to respect me first. Okay? And I guarantee you that your year will go much better when you set that boundary. That means you're not giving out your personal phone number and letting students text you. You're not using social media to contact students. That's why we have Parent Square. That's why we have a school email. Right? So there's some boundaries here. Our job isn't to get students to like us. Our job is to educate them. The only way we can do that is because our classroom is in control. They have clear-cut boundaries, and our expectations for behavior are through the roof. No, honey, I'm sorry. We don't do that in my class. You want to try that again? And I'm going to do it in such a way that no one else in the class heard what I just said to her. I might even bounce around, give her some help, come back over here. Could you hear me what I said over there? So I didn't call her out in front of everybody for me. But she knows. And all of a sudden I raised the bar on my expectations. We're going to talk later, and I don't remember which one, about having those academic expectations that are just as high. In fact, Trisha's going to talk to you about how do we motivate lazy students. We give them more work. We make it harder for them to be lazy than if they just do it right the first time. Those are the high expectations we're talking about. We got some great strategies on that. I'm sorry. She has some great strategies on that. I'm not going to steal those from her. Hear what I'm saying though about the high behavioral standards? That's why we're giving the look. That's why we're remaining calm. Alright? High expectations, respect first, then like. Not the other way around. Your job isn't to be the popular teacher. And life will be a whole lot easier when you figure that out. Sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. And you know, kids thrive in that environment because they start to think of you as as a parent. If they have a parent that expects a lot from them, then they start to kind of think of you as that parent, and they don't want to disappoint their parent. If they don't have a parent, they need that. Those are the kids that thrive in that. If they don't have a parent like that, because you're showing them you care, and then you really for you. Any questions about that? All right, we're gonna break up into groups, just one more activity, and let's just 3 groups. So we could even do like, you guys can do a group over there. Maybe like you guys here, can come back here, over there.
We have 24, 8 in a group?
Yeah. So what we're going to do first is we're going to celebrate. The whole point of this is for you guys to work together, help each other out. And so we're going to first celebrate what's working. So on this classroom management strategy, I am killing. I want you to write what that strategy is and put your first and last name. Okay? So in your group, share it, write it, and put your first and last name. And that's what we're just going to do for the first few minutes. So go ahead and get up. About 8 people a group. Please take you guys some markers. Don't do the other side yet. So celebrate that one strategy you feel like you are killing it in. I can help someone with this strategy.
Here's a good one.
All right.
So you got to do this one first. What is it killing? Jeans? You want to write that? Put your name right there. Bathroom policy?
Mine's different than yours. I'm outside, so they're always wild. They're never calm.
So once you share it, write it out, pass the pen on. Let's do it.
Thank you very much.
So I want to know what you guys do in class.
Hey everyone, I'm Jennifer. I think something I'm doing well that I've been told I do well is like a discreet one-on-one. Like say like I'm lecturing or something, or giving instruction, and then I just discreetly come by like with a student that's disruptive and or on class. So I should put discreet.
D-I-S, dis. Create with a C. Double E.
Okay.
Yeah, I teach English.
I took a, but I'm going to study. I'm trying to do some of the classes to learn more about
Thank you.
Wants to go next? Not it, I'm just kidding. Sure.
Oh, what do you think?
I think that, hi everybody, my name is Alexa, I teach at MLK, and I'm a first year English teacher. I do need to be more firm in like my classroom standards, and I've had trouble with just like laying down the law kind of in my classroom, but one thing that I've never really struggled with is letting the students know that I care about them. So if they're in crisis or if they are having a bad day or something, I'm always quick to like listen. I also just, that's constantly on my mind. It's like I want to make sure my students are okay first. That's why I'm a teacher. And
academic student leader, as long as they're in a good place, as long as they're, you know, regulated. Because we're not therapists or anything, but we can still be there for them. So, look at social work. I'm not ready today.
I feel like something we talked about today, just looking at them, like, and maybe not what I do too is try to. If it's a club for girls, I say their names, I say boys in the back, girls in the back, I'll stop what I'm doing, and I'll make sure. Not shading necessarily, but letting them know.
Sorry, I think I was in my classroom because when I called and by name to the student, then it gives the sense of some value in education and students. So calling them like
And so
I get started on
the band has been like quiet, and I learn their name last, and some of them like learn their name. Because they're quiet and they're good and then of course they're first and then they keep going. See their names every time. That's like one of my
Yeah, if I have my day like set up,
Okay, 2 more minutes. Everybody's strategy and aim should be. And there's so many things right here. Yeah, it's right next to their
So I would say for mine, it's like they're checking for understanding. So every time we do something, they're going to pair share, and then I'm going to call on them. That kind of keeps them on task because they know they're going to have to say something.
Does anyone else? I know, I use that for like class.
I'm Christina. Mine's gonna be kind of what yours is, kind of social, emotional support in terms of
what do you mean by struggle?
I don't know if you're going into this, but I think one of my biggest strengths in the classroom is holding students accountable. Like I'm always checking for understanding. Like I have my teacher, and like once I have like everyone's on their toes because they don't know when to
This works for my English classes, but my drama classes are chaotic. It's mostly 8th graders.
I don't have that equity part.
I start late.
All my students are my name.
So there's that.
That's what's hard.
Yeah. So it's pretty intense. But if I think doing stuff, and they'll do it. Yeah, but they'll do it.
Are you guys done too? All right. So now what you're going to do is you're going to think of the one strategy where you need the most work. I'm struggling with the strategy. Or what is the one thing I need to fix for my sanity? What is the one thing I need to fix? And I need to fix it now. So what is that struggle bus strategy that you have? So you don't have to talk about this one because we're going to talk about it in a minute. Just go up there, put your first and last name and that strategy. Think about those questions that we asked you at the beginning.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to go first? So like their phones are back?
I'm the same way, though, like math one and others. You don't count as two preps though?
No, I get one prep.
Well, I mean like two preps that like I teach two different courses.
Oh, yeah, I thought you meant you had two prep periods, so I was like, what?
Okay, 2 more minutes. Right now, we're going to talk in just a second. Right now, you're putting your strategy up on the board. Last page.
I mean, it's basically.
I'll take it. Mine's just like having a set like walk. Or I have a set walk. That's how it works. I have a set walk on the table. And I guess like managing like a procedure for that, like to get their stuff. Yeah, I guess they do that. Transitions. Yeah. With my phone, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I actually because I'm trying to work from that. I usually have on the board what we're going to do.
Are you guys done?
They pretty much. Yeah, well, I just need some. Like today, like some of it. They were the score. I didn't know you. Research that. I mean, I'm already set up, so I didn't have to do anything. So it's I want to set that yeah. I just kind of felt bad for myself because I actually did.
Is that your last one?
I'm like, oh, all right.
Agree, and I understand that.
I didn't even notice
All right. Okay, one more thing before we go back to our seats.
That's pretty bad.
All right, let's have your attention.
I was going to start doing
3, 2, 1.
I'm going to start doing proximity over here. All right. So what I want you to do now is you have the strategy that you're good at, and we've all written a struggle bus strategy. I want you to find, look at the list, walk around, a gallery walk, someone who's struggling in the strategy you wrote that you're good at, or a strategy maybe that you didn't write, but you know that you're good at, find that person and give them some advice on how to handle the strategy. What could you give that person, one piece of advice that they could try tomorrow? Okay? 5 minutes. Walk around, look at it, you might have to be like, who's this, who's this?
You did a great job with the marker money.
Give it a test. Jennifer.
Or motivation. Or say like I'm transitioning, like something, but I literally don't feel bad.
Yeah, that's a struggle. I mean, I think for us, it's the motivation.
In a way that
So look at the struggle, find that person's name, call them out.
So like, I'll actually even like move around again before I get to but not to be gross.
Okay, you guys, just for a second. Once you find someone on the list that says, I can help you with that, shout out their name. Jessica, who's Jessica? I tell Jessica, who's Stevie?
Yeah.
Right?
You check that. You're being emotional around. Give me a second. I'll give you a minute. I'll let you deal with that. I'm gonna go over here.
Oh, wait, you know. Well, no,
So, what are you guys, Daniel?
Is anyone Martin Michelle? All right.
I've done it, but I haven't. I've done it consistently, and I should. I feel like I don't know. I didn't even try to type it, but I don't do it. I end up making it complicated to where I'm like, okay, let's get the big one. I see what one thing. Yeah, I've seen the option, but I haven't used it.
return to your seats.
That's what I think. Yeah.
So you can take out your phones and join the class, or take out your phones and take a picture, or take out your notebook and write the join code.
Is this for Google Classroom?
Google Classroom. It's actually a Greek mythology Ichabus. No. Icarus, right? No, but this one's Ichabus. See the V? Oh yeah, yeah. See?
That's one that flew too close to the
So while you're doing that, tomorrow you will have a discussion board posted in the morning. And you have 2 or 3 days, instructions are in there to do your first post. And then you will be responding to a few people. Your lab work will be posted next Wednesday that we're going to do. I want you to start thinking about this strategy. Pick one strategy that you would like to implement. As far as the lab work goes, though, we're going to be really assessing data in the lab. So what you're going to want to do is say, I'm going to do cell phones. Have your TSM come in, and how many kids have out their phones? So get some pre-assessment data, whatever it is, and then you're going to implement the strategy. You're going to try a couple different things, and then you're going to do like a post-assessment. Now that I've tried this, how many kids still have their phones out? So start with some kind of pre-assessment. How many students are XYZ or are not XYZ? We're going to implement some strategies, try it, and then try it again. Okay? So start thinking about that. So do you guys all have an idea of at least one thing you can try tomorrow?
What's an example?
For the proximity, because I don't yell it out, but there are times I'm not right next to the student, and I will be like, phone, like, I don't always say the name, but I'll say like phone, and then they'll be like, so proximity.
Instead of nagging. Okay, what else can we use?
Stay calm.
Stay calm.
I did smile and count that.
We can use Queen Victoria look. That's another one. Classroom arrangement is one of the strategies. So if you're going to redo your room tomorrow and put them in better groups so that you have an interior and exterior loop, that's a strategy. So it's giving you 4, right? Staying calm, Queen Victoria look, proximity, and rearranging your groups. The 5th one we talked about was seating charts. Rearranging your seating charts. 6th one is to analyze your room through the eyes of a visitor. Is it cluttered? All right, so there's 6 things we could try. Your assignment is to pick one of them.
Or anything on the board you put, that's your circle bus
There you go.
strategy. Like, do I have ideas? And if you didn't get one tonight, email me and I can give you a few.
Thank you. Yeah, so you can also, if you want to take a picture, because their names are on there, you want to contact them and get a little more in depth about those strategies, that's great. So I just have my 6, right? I know that these are. You guys can contact everybody's MUSD email, so it's easy to find.
Part of the discussion board, you're going to be asked about your strategy and what you need help with. So make sure you guys really, again, those things that you're good at, go in and help your peers with those as well. In Google Classroom, there's a form.
Feedback for tonight?
Feedback for tonight, if you could fill that out really quickly. Or next time you guys go in and you join the classroom.
And I will tell you this, we want to start on time and end on time. So as they say in Chachilla, y'all be here at 4 and we're out at 5:30. I guess in Texas they say all y'all, right?
No, it's y'all.
All y'all?
It's y'all.
Y'all? Just y'all? All y'all be here, 4 o'clock, all y'all, no, just y'all. Be here at 4 o'clock so we can start on time and we're in on time at 5:30.
October 4th is our next